want to do a video of a 2016 Lexus GS 350 taillight conversion. Unfortunately, I noticed some pinpoint cracks in my taillights. This one's actually pretty good. And then this other was fine. I think it was replaced actually. But then we have these. I have these weird pinpoint cracks. I don't know if that was just a manufacturing defect or what. So we ordered these. It's that eBay taillight LED black installation. So we're gonna work on it. It gives you instructions and it's not terribly detailed. It doesn't show you how to disassemble the car. So I was just gonna go through that real quick. As you can see, I already have both the passenger and driver's side taillights off. It's actually very simple. So there's the 3 holes that go through the back of the taillight itself. There are 10s, 1, 2, 3, and then there's a slide on, just a little pop, and it just literally slides into that and it locks on. That keeps it on the side. So that's easy to remove there. You can literally you can undo this little cup here, or you can pull this forward and get to it that way. It's very simple to get to. You don't have to access this back panel here. I knocked it off just to kind of see what was back there, but you don't have to do that. The big deal is the trunk. There are 15 of these little push pin upholstery connector things. If you just use an upholstery removal tool, pop them out. All you need so far is the 10mm socket and the upholstery removal tool. It's weird because these actually have like a castle nut. I guess it's not really a castle nut, but it's just a capped nut that goes on the side here. So the castle nuts, they go on the side here. And just screw them. There's 4 of them. And that actually holds the external part of the light on. So we're going to take all that off. The connectors are here and inside. And I actually want you to run the connectors together. It gives you a new camera base, the connections that go with that, and then the camera mount. It shows you how to kind of loop through the wiring. And then they want you to take it all together. Basically, you know, it's a big chain. It's just going to loop in a circle. And then it shows you next to bring it down your actuating arms for the trunk. And it just kind of shows you the camera. Basically how the lights and stuff are supposed to be oriented, and then install the baffle plates. So we're going to put that together and see how it goes. And I'll post an update. All right, so an update. We got the trim piece off. It went underneath here. And that actually holds on the camera there. So there's these 4 holes that you can access to just pop off panels for the lights. They're here, and unfortunately I broke the tab off of one of them because it was dry rotted. It just pops into this main trim piece just like so, right there. And then there's the bolt there, and there. Now the problem are these. These are slot-in push pins, and you can't take them out. You can't. And they're both slotted in the opposite direction, so you have to put it on this way and then put it on this way. As you can see, those 2 are missing. So I popped them out, and unfortunately they're not meant to be reused. It was the only way that I saw how to get it off. Unfortunately, I mean, luckily you can just use any kind of automotive push pin connectors that are wide enough, and I happen to have a good box of them here in my assortment, so easy peasy. So we're gonna get into that, but I wanted to mention that because unfortunately you can break, there's 4 little pins there, and you can see that one's gone with the wind. But the other one made out okay. The next part, this is the camera. And as you can see, there are 2 little wings. And that goes just in the car there. So literally in like so. The bolts are actually through this, not in it. It bolts through that rear face piece, kind of actually goes up like so. The red dot goes downward. But anyways, and the kit makes you change out this base. So the one with the G we're doing away with, and we're going to this one. It's got a small set of screws there. And then there's your wings again with the small set of screws. It looks like it's a little more out, basically. It gives it a little more ledge than the stock one. That's all it does. It's just an alignment piece, I would guess, but I figured I should mention it since it was a pretty big deal removing that trim piece and breaking those little pieces. Hopefully somebody can find a better way. All right, so finally got the lights installed. Driving around with it. So it, eliminates the middle strip. This is all one light now. The one of the wiring pieces comes in just behind this. Unfortunately, it's not long enough to run on this side, and they definitely want you to run it through this pillar, but there's no way to run it underneath this sheathing. The other one you can see is notably wider, and that's because there's already a wire that, or I guess not just a wire loom, because it's more than one that kind of goes back there behind it. So ideally what we should do is probably cut this and run it over here with the other, run it down and around, but it's there. It doesn't get a check to make sure that it's not in the way of the motor or anything like that. It closes without binding as long as it's on the inside, and then you kind of loop it down in front and then over to the light itself there, where it just connects. It's a simple connection. A couple of key points to note is this is the factory camera. You see here, let me get it down. There are 2 little lateral holes in this, on this side and this side. In the supplied one, it's not there. So we ran into that problem for fitment, because it's required that you go to this new fitment to get the camera to actually protrude out past the new trim that they give you underneath. Because I actually remember early in the video I broke off, unfortunately, one of the tabs for the lights, so that luckily replaced that entire system. But this is the original, and the other one did not have those little side cutouts. So the handy dandy soldering iron, you just take it and literally just burn. It is actually perfect. A quick second and you can burn in those tabs, and it worked perfectly. I did actually have to adjust the hole on this bottom side on the one that they supplied, just because there's set screws on, or set pins, I guess. They're just plastic pins on the opposite side of the screws. So the screws are here, pins are here, kind of deal, or vice versa, So one of the set pins didn't just sit perfectly in there. It was a little bit more inward. So I also just put the soldering iron just in and out real quick, and that was it. It fit perfectly. I have no issues with the reverse camera alignment, although you could definitely have issues with alignment if you're not careful. It's something that I don't know that I would recommend the kit because of that. I may have just been lucky and it was easily aligned for me, but that could be a deal breaker for some people, because it was definitely a lot more work. Other than that, there was no other work, and it works perfectly. So the lights work as they should. Let's see if we, so we have our, and that's the same as blinker. That's that. And then we'll see if we can't get the and I don't know if you can tell now, but the rear lights are on. It's literally from the L all the way over there, and the blinkers are there. The reverse lights are directly here. They're fairly bright. I mean, it's not going to light up the world. It's not off-road lights, you know. And that's pretty much it. Not exactly sure what these lights are. I guess I'd have to look and see. God only knows. But I like it. It's definitely a fix for the cracks that I had on these. That seemed to be just a manufacturer thing. It's stable, no rattling, anything like that. I'll post the eBay link to what I use, but I would be very mindful of the camera issues.